Если я напрягусь настолько, что все мои эмоции и мышцы выйдут из всех границ, то я все равно даже близко не смогу быть похожим на этого парня. Джеймс BanKs, thank you for having a time for us.
Thank you very much, man.
Nice to meet you. How it's going? How are you?
I'm good, man. It's first day, so plenty of energy at this point. Nice and rested, had a good bit of vacation time, and now ready for some more Counter-Strike.
Okay, so like a few questions. Tell me, please, what are, for your reason, some factors for the team to win the Masters Cologne?
Ooh, wow, to win the whole thing?
Yeah.
I think the factors right now for teams is to come in as best prepared as possible and to come in as focused on the break as possible. We've had some teams that already played, so they've been at maybe Blast, for example, or they played some online games, but coming to their first event, some people have new rosters, and it's whoever can hit the ground running with that roster. So there's teams that haven't changed, like a G2 or a FaZe, for example. They're coming with their same players. You expect them to be on another level. But we've already seen from another event that didn't work out quite so well. So for teams right at this point, they need to make sure they've come in as best prepared as possible, as focused as possible, and you can't underestimate anyone because just look at the new Mouse lineup, right? They bring their old in-game leader back right now, and they're looking like they could potentially stomp NIP 2-0. We'll have to wait and see.
Do you have one or two teams that you are cheering for, or just interesting to watch?
If I'm going to say for me personally, my favourite team is always NAVI. I'm the number one NAVI fanboy. And then Monty as well, the other Ukrainian guys. So I've got a lot of love for them. NAVI won't see them play just yet. We've got to wait. They're in the group stage. But Monty, they started off strong here. I like just the fact that for NAVI, for example, going international, it's a big risk and it was a big change, but they made it already and qualified for the full finals, which is later on in Copenhagen. And now they look potentially to do well here, but there's a lot more pressure that comes to an event like Cologne, so maybe we'll have to see how they do on it.
So about if we speak about NAVI and about Cloud9, what do you think about the reshuffles that was made?
On paper, the Cloud9 one looks just better. Like the roles fit, the ideas of what they're going to play like fit. I would have personally preferred to have seen Hobbit be the IGL, but I believe it's going to be Electronic. I was talking to them a bit, and Electronic was saying like, yeah, I'm going to stay as IGL like he was doing on NAVI, but I still want to see him be able to frag out and go crazy the whole time. But this roster looks scary. I heard from some teams who are just practicing them, and you can only take practice with like a little bit of understanding, but they were saying like they're just a scary team. Like we're losing to them. The manager was tweeting about them playing like 12 hours a day total, scrimming all the time. They're in full grind mode, and obviously for Cloud9 to lift a trophy would be huge considering the ups and downs they've had and how problematic it's been for them up until the point where obviously they removed Buster, Inters went before that, now Nafani's gone as well. But this could be like the best roster move of the Roster Mania season before we got here.
Okay, and the last question. You're the most hypest, the most emotional host I've ever seen. So tell us, please, your secret. How the man could be so, I don't know, so good.
Thank you. I don't know if it's so good. I like to bring the hype wherever I go, but I feed off the energy of the crowd. So I know some people in like Twitch chat and online, they're like, oh, why? It doesn't make sense, blah, blah, blah. But like, if you're in the arena and you feel it, the amount of people who are in the arena there with me and they're saying like, oh, we love it, they go crazy. I just think back to loads of these past events, like the majors I've done and stuff, and you feel the crowd as you go onto that stage, and you can't help but then be energized yourself. You soak it up. It's like solar panels, but for human form, I would say. And the best thing about it is that just recently at the Paris Major, when I was shouting my like bring the hype thing, there was people in the crowd shouting it back at me, and I was like, dude, that's a wild experience. So it's really nice. That gives me a lot of energy as well. And just make sure, sleep, you get as much sleep as possible. It's hard at these long events, but just a lot of food, a lot of protein, and if you need an energy drink or two, that'll do as well.
Do you think it will be very loud at Lanxess Arena?
Cologne is always like one of the best. For me, like Katowice and Cologne are the two events that don't need to be majors, that always bring the major level. The other one would be full finals when it's in the Royal Arena in Copenhagen. Those three are just like standout events. Obviously majors, whenever it's a major, everyone wants to go, so it always becomes like a crazy packed out arena and super hype anyway. But yeah, I'm ready for Cologne. They love a drink. There's some beer to be drunk by these guys in there. They're always doing that. It was like beer towers get made as well. But it's because of the shape as well of the arena. It just feeds well into how it's set up from the top to the bottom. All the guys on the floor, and then into the center stage with the long walkway. I don't know what it's going to look like. Maybe ESL change it up for this year, but how it normally works, it just fits perfectly for the chanting, for the roars, and obviously the German fans, they've got the boars, and they basically, roaring bears, sorry, I think it is, roaring boars. I'll have to remember exactly what it was. They're going to really complain. But those guys, they come action-packed. They're obviously mainly big fans, but they come and support no matter what team. Like when Big was eliminated last time, I think they were cheering for NAVI, and these guys are just impressive. So it's going to be a whole vibe, man.
And I guess the last question,
Yep.
very popular question right now. What do you think about CSGO, CS2 for right now?
Right now, it's looking really good. You know, we're obviously getting frequent updates to things that are happening in CS2. We've just seen Overpass come in, Vertigo added as a casual map. I played a lot of it. It's like all I'm playing, I will not play CSGO at the moment. I only play CS2 just so I'm up to date on everything that's going on and seeing and feeling it out. And it feels really good. Like every time when they made the movement improvements, that was a big difference. Now with the maps coming out and getting a bit more of the seeing how it's working, the feel of it, how the shooting's working, we're getting a much needed upgrade to Counter-Strike, but something that I can see will help us last for another 10 years or more.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Man.
See you.